Thank you for joining us today at noon. I'm Brianna Fernandez. A man accused of killing his wife while trying to get away from police in Greenwood Village last October. He appeared in court today. Justin Couts is charged with first-degree murder. This happened back on October 19th in the Cherry Hills Marketplace parking lot just off South University Boulevard. Greenwood Village police say people reported seeing Couts shoplift from a store. When officers approached them, they say he and his wife, Tara Cathcart, jumped in a white SUV and then tried to take off. At some point, her door opened and police could see her hanging out of it. Officers say the SUV crashed into several other parked cars, slamming the door on her body. She eventually fell onto the ground, and Couts took the wheel and then drove off. Tara died from her injuries, and Couts is now being charged for her death. Hurricane Beryl has been downgraded to a tropical storm after making landfall in Texas as a Category 1 storm with heavy rains and powerful winds. The hurricane knocked out power to 2 million homes and businesses as fast rising waters caused street flooding and prompted rescues as well. The storm had weakened after leaving a path of deadly destruction through parts of Mexico and the Caribbean. Police in a Houston suburb urged people to stay off the roads after a falling tree hit their high water rescue vehicles. Now more than 1,000 flights have been canceled at Houston's airports. Now joining me right now, it's meteorologist Keely Chalmers. Keely, you are tracking the path right now of Hurricane Beryl.
Yeah, and like you said, it made landfall as a Category 1 hurricane, since been downgraded to a tropical storm, but it is weakening. However, it is still strong. Over the last 24 hours, you can see here as we take a look at our satellite and radar, it has dropped more than 6 inches of rain over the Houston area. You can see right now it is tracking just north. The eye of the storm there you can see tracking just north of Houston as it makes its way north. Now it is going to hit this ridge of high pressure that's responsible for all that heat across the west. And as it hits that ridge of high pressure acts sort of like a block. It is going to change the direction of the storm, making its way toward the Great Lakes. And as it does, it's going to weaken into a tropical depression, still packing a punch, still dropping a lot of rain as it makes its way towards the Midwest. As for us here in Colorado, we have got calm weather. The big story for us, not the rains, not any storms, but the heat, and it's going to come on strong as we head toward the weekend. Out there right now, we're at 74 degrees. Winds are light, not going to be an issue. Lots of sunshine as we head toward the evening, with our temperatures topping out right around 84 degrees today. Mostly sunny. Winds fairly light today, continuing to be light as we head into the overnight hours. Tomorrow, 90 degrees, which is actually normal for this time of the year. But then the heat cranks up after that. We're talking triple-digit heats, possibly record-breaking heat. We'll talk more about that coming up in your full forecast in just a bit.
Keely, thank you so much. The good news continues out of Pueblo County for the Oak Ridge fire. Fire officials say it is now 69% contained, and so far it's burned more than 1,200 acres. The fire started back on June 22nd, and investigators say lightning is to blame. And in California, the lake fire continues to burn in Santa Barbara County. The fire is burning in Los Padres National Forest. 3 helicopters and 10 air tankers have been assigned to battle the flames. The lake fire is at 0% contained right now and has burned more than 13,000 acres since it started on Friday. And in New Jersey, fireworks are to blame for a wildfire there. 4,000 acres have burned so far, and the fire is 74% contained. The fire started late on July 4th. Campgrounds were evacuated, but no structures are being threatened at this time. That fire is in Burlington County, which borders Philadelphia. And the 4th of July weekend typically brings violence with it, and unfortunately that was the case here in Aurora. Right now, police are looking for the person they say shot 3 teenagers, killing one of them. That victim, a 14-year-old girl, and this happened during what was supposed to be a fun event, a big party in Highland Hollows Park. Around 100 people were there, and advocates say those people and their families were left traumatized. After the shooting, leaders at Struggle of Love, a nonprofit dedicated to youth violence prevention, showed up to offer support to the community.
Some of them are just coming to, hey, I just want to hang out. And then bam, this happens. Now they're traumatized for the rest of their life. Now some of them don't even want to go to a party anymore. It's just this poison and this disease that's going through our community that's lasting and lasting and getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse.
He says there needs to be more investment in equity in youth programs and education as well, along with improvements in the community like better lighting in the park. Meanwhile, Aurora police say the shooting was not a random act of violence and stemmed from a fight within the party. Investigators are looking into several leads right now, but no one is in custody yet. And this week, the former owners of the Return of Nature funeral home in Penrose are scheduled to be in court. Prosecutors expect them both to plead not guilty, and that would set up for a potential trial date. John and Carrie Halford are accused of improperly storing nearly 200 bodies at their funeral home in Penrose. According to an email to victims' families, the deal is for the Halfords to plead guilty to nearly 200 counts of abuse of a corpse. John would get 20 years in prison, and Carrie would get between 15 to 20. On top of this, John and Carrie Halford are also facing federal charges of fraud for misusing COVID-19 relief money. And a heads up for drivers today, Cherry Creek Dam Road will be closed until 3:30 this afternoon for repairs. The county will restripe the roadway, repair guardrails and street signs as well. The closure starts from 8 a.m. until 3:30. That will happen and go on until Friday. Drivers can use I-225 or South Parker Road as an alternate route until repairs are complete. And today, crews are still working on RTD's track repairs. RTD says that they will temporarily shut down parts of the E and R lines overnight, so this will run through Thursday. The closures run from Bellevue Station to Dry Creek Station and will last from 11 at night till 6 in the morning. RTD will replace the affected routes with shuttle buses during those hours. And a group of wild horse advocates are hoping to find new homes for Mustangs rounded up earlier this year. The Bureau of Land Management rounded up 40 horses from the McCullough Peaks herd out of Wyoming, and starting today, 21 are up for auction. Now, a battle between advocates and the BLM continues to this day regarding how the number of wild horses and burros should be managed. There are a few ways to make that happen, and each side views them differently. One is called bait trapping, where the BLM traps them in a pen using things like hay and salt licks, etc., to lure them before closing the gate. Another is even more controversial, using helicopters.
So the helicopter seems like a big predator. And when horses panic, they can injure themselves. I captured the helicopters chasing the horses. I captured them being pushed into this pen, and the horses calling for each other. The mares calling for the foals calling for the mothers, the stallions calling for the mares.
Herds that are not used to seeing people, I think that's where, the BLM is looking at having to do a bait trap, or a helicopter gather.
Now, without measures like these, Purdy says rangeland conditions will deteriorate, affecting recreation, cattle grazing, and under certain agreements, energy development. Walker fears if roundups continue, the number of wild horses will fade away as well. Now, coming up later today on 9 News at 4, our morning anchor Jordan Chavez, he is diving deeper into what the methods look like with both sides of this debate, including the one that both sides say that they're okay with and why it's not happening anymore.